guys, Wahoo here, back in the video. This time around, the community letter for August. Yes, we have the community letter for August, and we're gonna go through it one part by another. But I am a few days late on this one because I had to attend a birthday, and so things get in the way, and then that's just how it goes, right? But if you want to just read this yourself and don't want to hear me yapping, you can of course go to the description, as things are always linked in the description that I go over in these videos. So you can just go to the description if you much rather do that and just click it and read it yourself. But if you want to hear me, like I said, yapping about what is going on, then of course you will most welcome to of course follow me on the journey through the community letter. I've read the community letter, so of course kind of trying to be a little bit prepared for these videos sometimes, even though it doesn't really seem like I am. But this one, definitely for sure, I am indeed. So community letter for August is, first of all, is the recap. We got the recap here first. And of course, in the recap, we do have the 10-year anniversary. Of course, the big Sunfest. It was the biggest Sunfest yet, with completely new, as I say, new quests and challenges and rewards every corner, and that's absolutely true. Also, all the names, by the way, here, I won't go over every single name, but I will talk about the names here. Of course, who won the Yabaki, the Cast of Shadow mount, the very rare mount as well. I talked about this actually before in my kind of review feedback kind of video, where I talked about they should bring another not Yabaki back next year, but a mount that kind of reflects that you obtained it in the Sunfest of 2026, right? So it has like Sunfest 2026 on it somewhere, or just 2026 or something like that. So people it's kind of exclusive mount or something like, or ally for that matter. It could be like for 2026. Also, they talk about the Twitch drops. I will also kind of cover that a little bit. But point is, they should bring stuff like that back. Also, these exclusive Twitch drops should also be brought back next year. They should bring the old Twitch drops back, because of course there's always people that don't have them, even though it's not very amazing for people that have had them for so many times. That is not really new for a lot of people, but there are always new people that are coming into the game. So it's very nice to get some new Twitch drops, and I'm always excited to get some new ones, but I do also get that, people haven't got their old ones, or the old ones if they are new to the game. But yes, this was the big Sunfest, and it was super awesome, super fantastic, whole month, and it was just like 10 out of 10. Well, I would not say 10 out of 10, because 10 out of 10, that would mean that everything was absolutely perfect, and it was absolutely perfect-ish. I would say there was some minor things that went wrong, but overall it was basically a 10 out of 10 event for sure, and something we would be wanting also going forward. Not in the same hugeness as big next year, of course, but it should again be something that people look forward to and is like the best time to play the game, basically. It doesn't have to be a whole month. It could be 14 days as we used to in the other events we have, but it should be twice as big as a normal event, because we have an event going on right now. We'll talk about that as well, but there is an event going on, and it should be twice as much as that, but it shouldn't be as big as this was. So this should be something we get maybe every 5 years or every 10 years, right? That should be something that is absolutely insane, but it should be the absolute best place, or most not best place, but the best time to play the game, of course, when it is Sunfest, and it is celebrating another anniversary, because it only comes back once a year. So I think it's fair to make it a very huge, amazing event as well. So these are all the winners, as you can see here. I won't pronounce any people's names, but there's some PlayStation, some Xbox, and as they say right here, just anybody who's not aware of it, Sunfest is still going on Switch. So on Switch you can still, of course, get all that stuff going on, and they will again get the new event we got going on right now on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. That event will start as soon as Sunfest is over. So they will be kind of catching up to the rest of us as soon as Sunfest is up, and then they will be getting that event, and then they're probably also gonna get event back to back or something like that, because of just the time wise that event also has to be going on for 14 days, and then we'll probably be in September, right? So sure, I think it might go like that, or we don't know when September it's going to be there. So we will have to see whenever that is going to go down. But at least Switch are going to get all the events that we're going to get all of it. So don't worry about that at all. And lastly, about the recap, you can still watch the VOD of the dev stream as well. So I really highly recommend you, if you have the time, to watch that VOD. Just have it in the background or something like that. There's not really anything going amazingly on the screen, you know, so you can just have it as something going on. Maybe you can listen to it, you know, going if you're on the bus or on the train or something like that. You just listen to it. I think that's really important that people do that if you do have the time and you're kind of interested in kind of what is going on and such. So this is basically the recap. I do want to show again a little bit about the Twitch drops. This was the Twitch drops that we had, and this is of course also if you click this link right here, Twitch drop return, that is going to put you to this page here as well, because I do want to mention all these great content creators that are here. There are some amazing people, of course, Cash and Clean and Mods and Tanya and all those, and many more, as you can see right here as well. Especially also Cyan Dragon. If nobody really knows Cyan Dragon, he has actually streamed Trove like constantly for like many years. He doesn't get a lot of viewers, so I really want to shout him out because he's been streaming Trove for a long time. Maybe even longer, especially I'm talking when I say long, I mean like when he started, and maybe it started before me when I started streaming it, but he's definitely streamed since then as well, a lot of times, and he's always basically on, so he's definitely something you want to check out for sure. So that's some of the amazing content creators. They're in the content creator program and also part of everything. So definitely go here, check those out, because this guy Wahoo here, you know, he should be streaming some more, but he is, he has more important things to do. Let's just say that. Let's not use the word lazy, right? But yeah, definitely go check that out. So if you're missing something, there's a whole list right here. So go check that out. Again, click the Twitch drops returned, and then you are in the description. There will be this link, of course, and then you go to that. All right, so you can find a bunch of streamers there. So this is a bunch of clicking, but you will get it as well. But moving on, we are going to go to the community questions. So yes, community questions. The first one is going to be, is there any plan to reset names? And basically what they're saying, they're not talking about it right now because people do come back to their, you know, game, and maybe somebody gets discouraged if they don't have their name. But on the other hand, if people, you know, don't use those names, they should also be up for grabs. It's at least in my opinion. So we'll see. They want to keep the door open. They will be seeing what they can do, but it's not on the immediately plans right now. But of course, keep asking these questions, because at some point they are, you know, so they don't get forgotten. That's what I mean. Like if you keep asking them, or I wouldn't say ask them every single day, but like maybe once a month or something like that, whatever. Like, if you want these questions not only answered from, of course, here, but also, of course, to keep them, reminding them that that is something you do want. The consistency is the key to this one, right? So keeping on them toes, basically. Next thing is, will there be additional ways to farm dragon coins to keep up with the growing demand? And they're on a conversation about that. They do see that there's a growth in demand for like when new dragons arrive, and also now that Luxian visits, because there's a bunch of stuff there as well that's like even more than there was before, also harder. But they don't have any immediate plans to change it, and like but they will keep this in mind as we work on future systems. Again, keep reminding them, because I think dragon coins is actually quite a little bit of a growing problem, because again, keeping up with dragons, newer players, you know, people like me that had most of the dragons, a few of them, again, I've been lazy to get, but there is definitely a growing demand to get these dragon coins, and I was actually really keen on getting, or not getting dragon coins, but when I saw that Luxian was getting changed, I was like, oh, maybe that is super cool, because you're going to do something different, and instead of just going to the hub and going click, right, you're actually going to do something. But when I saw that you also had to use dragon coins, I was kind of like, oh my god, I don't think this is a good idea. I think it's still a good idea towards dragons. If it's something to do with dragons, sure, it should have a cost to it with dragon coins, of course, with dragon fragments and all that stuff that has a relation to dragons, right? Of course, Luxian is a dragon, so everything you sell is sort of to a dragon, but everything else should be just costing the materials that you farm in the Luxian event. So it shouldn't cost you dragon coins as well. So it should just be, you know, the raw materials, whatever you can say that has that. And then if it has something to do with a dragon, it should definitely cost dragon, and also of course the Luxian, because it would not make any sense if you could just buy the whole Luxian, new Luxian dragon for dragon coins, right? So definitely should be that, because then it will take out a lot of effort to getting dragon coins, and dragon coins would focus on getting dragon coins. And I know also Luxian is only back once a month and you can farm up a bunch of dragon coins in that sense, but I would just really love to see that they change Luxian to being, you know, if it has something to do with a dragon, then, you know, use dragon coins. If it's not, then have it just not in-game, but the event, basically, the event stuff that is during Luxian, that should only cost the extra things that, like a mount or an ally or something like that, right? So I hope that makes perfect sense if I explained it well enough so you guys understand that I just want dragon coins to be something with dragons and not something that's not with dragons. Great, cool. Let's move on to the next one. They talk about if there is going to be a future with Yabaki included for loyal players to show their, you know, a chance to own this mount. And I really feel like they kind of say they want to explore more, you know, ways to communicate and involve like different ways to also obtain this mount in the future. But I really feel like they shouldn't bring this mount back, as I talked about before. If we're talking about Sunfest, it should be something that is like exclusive to that Sunfest. Like we have a bunch of stuff, and it should be a mount or an ally, whatever it be, like I talked about before, is that it should be an ally that doesn't give mastery or anything like that. It's just be a skin, like there was also for these exclusive allies we got from the Twitch drops this Sunfest. They don't give any mastery, and I feel like the mount from that could be a thing where it doesn't give any mastery, because it like you wouldn't get it back next year. Like you would get then in 2027 you would get an ally or mount that said 2027, but it wouldn't give any mastery, because then you would have to bring it back every single year, and then it kind of misses out on the exclusivity of having played that time, you know, in the future, right? So they should have done this like years ago, you know, so you could have like, oh my god, this guy played back in, you know, 2021 or something like that, right? That's kind of the thing I should, you know, so you can kind of show off that a little bit that you played during that Sunfest, right? And of course we can go forward with that now, and hopefully Trove will be around for many years, but I'm just saying it should be something exclusive that you get for by just playing that event once a year. And again, I don't think Yabaki should be coming back, because it is a super amazing mount, but it should also be very, very exclusive, and we should have one mount that is, because there is so many mounts in Trove, and there is so many dragons, there's so many things. There is definitely something that is a favorite. Yabaki can't be the most favorite mount of everybody, but of course it does become very, you know, exciting to have, because it's so exclusive. But if it's not exclusive, everybody has it, you know, then nobody has it basically, right? So definitely, I hope that you know, Yabaki becomes a really, really rare. And when you see some in the like basically seeing a unicorn or something like that, but with the ally mount thing every Sunfest, that would be something you can say, oh, look at this, I actually played back then. It's like, wow, he actually played, you know, back then in that year, basically. But it wouldn't be like something, oh man, I didn't play back then, so, you know, I don't. It could just be an ally holding a sign that says, you know, for example, a year, and then they could be coming back next year, just saying a different, you know, it could be the same ally, just with you know, the sign, but saying a different year, right? It could just be that, you know, it doesn't have to be anything fancy pantsy or anything like that. So that was the community questions. Let's move on to the upcoming stuff. All right, so for the upcoming stuff, we do have the Elysian Initiative. I think that's how you are supposed to say it. Of course, it's going on already. I made a video for it. It's on the channel. You guys know, but the point is, it is going on right now. So it's going to be here until the 19th of August. And we did get actually the longest quest, if we don't take Sunfest now, but we actually got the longest quest we've ever had with a 15-step quest line. That's the longest we've ever had. 14 was the previous record. Now we're on 15. Maybe we're gonna get 16 someday. We can cross our fingers, you know, to see if it won't be that. But it's a super great event. It's super simple, which is really, really nice. You know, not that Sunfest was like a hard quest line or anything like that, but it was a long quest line, which is really, really great. I really wish that they would, you know, mix it up, like have it not has to be every other event has to be a long one, but I'm just saying having just such a long quest line and such a long event, it's nice to have like kind of a wind down, like just kind of simple, you know, you just go out there, you defeat some dungeons, you get what you need, you go in and you get your stuff, and that's it, you know, and you can kind of wind down. And also school is starting for most people now, so, you know, people have a lot on their mind, so not something extremely crazy or anything like that. We can have it at September when everything is basically going on. So that is, of course, going on right now, but as you can see right here, they say that the PTS server is going to be up very, very soon. Of course, I'm going to make a video. Don't worry, just stay tuned to the channel. Of course, I will make a patch notes video. I'll make a gameplay video on the PTS server so you guys can follow along and see what mistakes I make so you don't have to do it. And we can learn together in the new patch that's coming. I was kind of like, hey, I'm going to see if the PTS server is kind of open, because sometimes they are not very good to communicate that stuff. I hope they are going to be better now that we are content creators. Maybe they'll like message us or something like that. Hey, it's going to be up tomorrow, so be ready, or something like that. That'd be super awesome. Never tried that before, so that could be cool. But I was just like, maybe they're on vacation and they opened it up, or maybe I was gonna want to slip in, you know. But there was a patch that was downloading, and it was 1.3 gigabytes actually, so that's actually pretty huge. I'm not saying we should have expectation of becoming a huge patch, but we know that it's coming block in the game. We don't know how it's going to work. I think it's just gonna be sort of a hold the button and then you are blocking an attack if it's coming towards you or something like that. I have no idea. I'm hoping it's gonna just be a new stat. I don't think it's going to work in Trove with like a block functionality like that. I'm also talking about the skill tree. We know you have the skill tree, the quad tree, whatever it's called, the star, of course, the star chart as it's actually called. That is some melee notes that's towards melee, and that's, or not a melee, but physical damage users, and mostly the melee champions in the, or melee classes in this game are, of course, physical damage characters. So I was just thinking, why not implement some damage reduction into those nodes and just kind of helping those melee classes or those physical damage character classes with some damage reduction. And you can say, well, that's also going to help a class like the Shadow Hunter. Sure, 100%, I get it. That would also, but doesn't really, it's just a benefit mostly to those, and you can't, because there's also melee magic damage users, for example, like the Dracolite, that's also sort of a melee one. Also the Tomb Raiser is also magic, but also kind of close combat. So yes, that would not benefit from the the damage reduction from the physical nodes on the star chart, but it would still be something, and I'm not sure how the block is going to work. We'll see when that opens up, but mostly important, mostly important is we are getting a new tier of gems, so we are going to get crystal tier gems. Sorry, not crystal. Sorry, mythic, of course. Mythic tier gems. I'm saying crystal. We do already have crystal. Sorry about that. It is mythic tier we are going to get. So it's going to line up with our mythic gear as well. Hope we're going to get mythic rings at some point. Maybe. No, who knows? But we'll see what that happens as well. But we're definitely going to get a new tier of gems. So we are going to get a bunch of more levels on our gems. Probably maybe another 5 levels. And that's going to help us very much obtain that power rank to transition from, of course, tier 14 worlds into the tier 15 worlds, of course, which the gap is kind of tied all into gear right now. So, and the gear is quite hard to obtain and also upgrade, and it takes a long time, which is not bad to per se. It's maybe little bit too long, but now that transition is going to be easier because you can obtain it through 2 different methods, both upgrading your gear, but also upgrading your gems, which of course might also take some time, but at least you are not only focusing on that gear, and that's the only way to do it. I like to have multiple ways to upgrade your character, and not only going through, for example, a gear or a gem. Gems are usually a little bit more simple, but the gear can be a little bit more complex. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully it won't be too hard of a grind, but we'll see that on the PTS server, and I'll give my feedback from that. So that was what I wanted to say with, of course, the upcoming as well. So keep your eyes for the channel whenever that PTS server is up, and I have a bunch of videos coming out in soon. So again, keep your eyes out for the channel. There's going to be different random videos on different topics. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!